Hey dudes, I'm getting this thing ready here. Excuse my cough. I almost think it's a nervous tick now, because I know I shouldn't be coughing. Also allergies. I thought I would, I have a limited time to work each day, and I just finished up a few things from Eugenics, and I thought I would take about a half an hour to kind of talk to you guys and ask you a few questions on where you think I should go with Tapeworm, Kickstarter-wise. What would be good incentives? What would be good, way to make it so it doesn't feel like I'm doing it at a weird, inopportune time. Like, I want to be able to give you guys something right off the bat or sooner than later, because, with everything that's been going on, printing a game is going to take extra long. So, you guys can, thought I had a better mic. Is it not sounding good? It's a pretty good mic. Are you guys, does it really sound bad? Or do I just need to get like really close to it? The mic doesn't sound the best. Make sure I'm actually using... Is it too loud? Give me some feedback on this microphone. Doesn't sound the best. Sounds like Xbox Live. I don't... maybe it's on a different setting. One sec. Is it this one? Is this better? Is this better? Hello. Is this better? I can hear myself pretty good. It's a bit muffled. I don't... God damn it. Do you guys know what symbol it is I should be doing so it's directly, like, picking just me up? Okay, how about this? I just put my fucking mouth on it. I could be, whatever. It's... If you guys can hear me, it's good enough. I'm not a fucking pro streamer here. It's a USB. It's not blue. Oh, whatever. I'm not a fucking pro streamer. Look at my fucking background. There's just garbage everywhere. I'm not taking this on the road, guys. This isn't going to be my career. Let's get to it. Let's not talk fucking microphone talk all day. Okay. Do you guys want to just ask general questions first, or should we just do Kickstarter stuff? Because I really like to know what you guys think I should do. Why am I not playing Magic? There's a cube going. I could be playing Magic. But, you know, I want to figure out what we should do with the Tapeworm Kickstarter. So, let me go over a few thoughts with you guys, and you tell me what you think. So, and then I'll go over all the questions you want, okay? Questions first? You want questions first? Yeah, questions. Okay, I'll answer your fucking questions first. Point it more to my neck or chest. Really? Because I don't think this is going to be better. Because I'm pretty sure it's only picking up this part. But there's these different settings on here. You guys are fucking sidetracking me. I think I have it set to pick up right here. Well, people are asking questions, so I'm just going to fucking say whatever questions. Okay. Question. Son's a big fan of The Binding of Isaac. Love tabletop game. Love the tabletop game. And my question is, what's your first item? What is your first item in all The Binding of Isaac? What was the first item I made? The first item that was ever put into The Binding of Isaac was the sad onion. The first one I designed on paper was probably the inner eye, because I was just going over different shots. Will we ever get to see the old art for Eve's character as a promo? Possibly, but the thing is I want to use her dark version as a character in the upcoming Kickstarter. So that alt art will be seen, or at least a redrawing of the alt art, because she will be a character. The Whore of Babylon. I've already started answering questions, so am I a fan of Lovecraft and Stephen King? Sure, why not? I'm not a huge fan of either, but I can appreciate them all. I like a lot of the stuff that they've done and the vibe overall. The End is Nigh is physically sold out for PS4. I don't know about like stock for stores and stuff like that, so I don't keep track of that stuff. I have no idea. If it says it's sold out in the Nicholas shop, then it's probably sold out. Reminiscing with Florian. That would be pretty fun. I know he's got time to do whatever, so it could be fun to talk to him about his women problem. This is plural. Or maybe lack thereof now. Who knows? You never know. How long have I been playing Magic? I have been playing Magic since the beginning. I think I was a few months off, maybe a year off from the original. I started playing when Revised Edition launched. Like, I was at the boys club with my friend AJ, and he told me about this game called Magic, and it seemed really fucking cool. It was, I think, $8 for a starter pack and $2 for a booster pack, $2.50 maybe. And we went to a local comic shop, Atlantis Fantasy World, and we bought 2 starter decks. And they were actually selling Beta, Unlimited, Arabian Nights, and a few other things. And I remember Arabian Nights were like $5 or $6 a pack, and I was like, oh, why would I buy a pack of like 15 cards when I can get, you know, a whole set of cards in a starter pack? So I bought that. So I've been playing since then. I stopped playing during Ice Age, where a lot of people I think stopped playing, and then I came back in for Ravnica. And the thing that pulled me back in was Draft. Draft is the way to play. Okay. how's the pandemic affecting projects? It is affecting them. Like, I initially thought, like, well, everybody that I work with, including myself, we're all shut-ins either way, so why would this affect anything? But for whatever reason, it's kind of hard to be creative right now. I'm trying my best, but for me, it's especially hard because Peach isn't in school, and Danielle's pregnant, and she has a very difficult time chasing her around, so she needs my help. So it's not as easy to do much. And basically everybody that I've been working with is also either stressed out or just not feeling it, which is understandable. And I'm not going to be pushing anybody harder, including myself, with everything going the way it's been going. If wondering if Bumbo paid off and if you'd be making additions for it. Yes, Bumbo paid off. Hard to say, like, financially it did really well. It had a really explosive start, and then sadly it kind of petered out. It's still, one of my top selling games, and it's one of my better games, but for me, it was kind of a depressing launch and still feels depressing to me. It's difficult because I really wanted it to be so much more than it was, but there's a bunch of different reasons why that didn't happen. And, James has been going through a difficult time for the past half a year, and I don't know if he'll ever really be back. So I'm doing what I can to make sure the game can be updated, and I would like to do more with it in the future, but that would mean working with a publisher, and we're kind of figuring that stuff out now. But it's definitely a back burner situation now. I just really want to make it what it should have been. It's probably my biggest disappointment for me personally of anything that I've worked on, because I think it could have been so much more if we were able to do what I wanted to do with it in the amount of time and able to update it the way I wanted to update. But shit happens, a lot of bad shit has happened in the past 6 months. So it is what it is. The baby, we've got 4 months left, I think, but it is growing fast. 4 Souls Online, and I've actually had a conversation with Javon from Studio 71 about how that could actually be possible, but I just think it's just not a viable thing. It's not realistic to make a multiplayer card game online and expect anybody to really buy it and play it and make a profit off of it. So outside of Tabletop Simulator, I don't know how else you want to do it. Voice recordings for Mugenics. Okay, so yes, there will be a time when we might ask for people to submit them meowing in specific ways for Mugenics. I might need to look into the legal aspect of that, and we might have to have a little mini contract or something, but I would love it if we had a bunch of different voices for different cats. And we can pitch that stuff too to make it infinitely different each time. But I think it's pretty funny. If I can't get... what I would really like to do, I would love to get celebrity cat meows. That's what I would really love. I don't know how possible that is. I've talked to a few people, and it's oh yeah, I know people who would do it, but you need to pay royalties, and it's I don't want to pay anything for for people meowing. But you never know. Maybe we get some Z-grade, video game celebrities or something. We can have Notch do some meows, or who knows? You never know. Maybe Joan and Vasquez is down. How is Repentance doing? Repentance is doing well. I accidentally scrolled down and I went to the very fucking bottom. Jesus Christ. Okay, how's Repentance doing? Repentance is doing okay. It looks amazing, everything that we're adding. So the whole process is porting all the old stuff from Anti-Birth over, which is mostly done, and then making new content. All the new content is, it is all a lot of the new boss designs, majority of the new boss designs and stuff I designed, and then we go back and forth on. I got to design a whole bunch of new items and a whole bunch of new bosses, and I love how they look and I love how they play so far. It's just one of those situations where it's done when it's done, and again, I'm not going to like kill this team so we can release something subpar. I don't want it to be like Afterbirth Plus's launch. I don't want to have to work on the game for another year in order to make up for something that I wasn't proud of. So I want to make sure it's as good as possible, and I think it's pretty fucking great already. So we'll see. I've got a few cutscenes that are being worked on right now, and I've one more to write. Yeah, I think you guys will be. I think you guys will have a good time with it, and I think it's going to make the game last fucking ever. Would I ever do another ARG? So the ARG that I did was so fun. I really loved it. It took a lot of energy. It took a lot of time overall. And then it kind of ended bad. Or the middle of it was bad when everybody thought that I was trying to like screw people over because somebody fucked up the code on launch. Still don't know what the fuck happened with that. But I don't know. I would love to do something cool in the future for something. But it's just one of those things like when appropriate and when I feel moved to do so, that's when I'll do it. What do I think of AAA titles like Destiny, Borderlands? I played Borderlands 1 and 2. I liked Borderlands 1. I didn't like Borderlands 2 that much. I didn't play anything after that. I never played Destiny. It's a kind of weird misconception. I think a lot of people think that if you make indie games that you don't like AAA titles, so that's not true at all. Like I try to play the majority of stuff that people say is great. I played Red Dead Redemption and I played The Witcher, and I didn't like those games. It's just not for me. But the AAA games that I play Overwatch. I'm playing through Doom right now, but I'm not really enjoying it. I wish I liked it a lot more. There's no motivation for me to play through. I'm playing Animal Crossing, and I'm enjoying that. It's probably the best Animal Crossing that I've played. What else? Yeah, I like Overwatch. Would I ever add a new floor to the Binding of Isaac akin to the new sewer floor like Dad's bunker inside of the basement? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would Dad have a bunker in the basement? That doesn't work at all. Isaac's dad doesn't live there anymore. Also, they're poor. How would they make a bunker? My favorite Isaac YouTubes. I'm not going to say who my favorite is because then the other people will get upset. My favorite is the one. You know the one. You know the one. I'm talking about you. Okay. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Morning. Any more questions here? What inspired me to make awesome games? Childhood abuse. Does it bum me out that the first two letters of my name are also the term for erectile dysfunction? Well, there's also like special ed. Yeah. So that's it. That's the thing. But the thing is, nobody called me fucking Ed until I was old. And then my wife started calling me Ed, and then everybody fucking called me Ed. I don't really care anymore. I gave up. But I used to be one of those guys who was like, fucking my name's Edmund. It's not Ed. You fucking call me Edmund. But I don't care anymore. I've grown too old and tired. How would you recommend getting into programming and game development? Well, first, you should see if it's something that you even enjoy. I would recommend you get Game Maker, and you just try to make a game. I'm not a programmer, so I don't exactly know jack shit about it, but for me, I got into Flash and I learned some basic scripting, and then I gave up because I really hated the programming aspect of game development. And I started working with people who actually enjoy doing that. But yeah, I would go into it just for fun and just see if you like it. Like something as simple as like Mario DIY. Just if you really like it and you find yourself doing nothing but that. Oh, here's a good one. Fucking learn to be a DM for D&D and be a DM for a while, and that'll let you know if you like game design. Start making cool shit with that. You don't even need a computer. And if you like it, then you'll know where to go. You'll already be gravitating towards things that will, turn it into more of a career. Good luck. I don't know what Super Meat Boy Rival Rush is, or unless it's Super Mario Brothers. Wait, is that the card game thing? Or is it I don't know anything about Meat Boy. I have not worked with Team Meat in a long time, and I'm not talking to anybody there, so I don't know what's going on. So people ask me questions, and I'll have no fucking clue what's going on. But the answer is no. I haven't played anything Meat Boy related. The last Meat Boy thing that I got was I think they made some plushes, and somebody sent me some, which is nice. So thank you. Well, I make Bumbo DLC. So, in order to make Bumbo DLC, I have to be happy with how the game actually is now, which means the game would need to be updated and fixed and tuned and tweaked. And, my goal is to find a publisher, which I'm currently talking to a few, and I'm hoping to get the ball rolling soon. Find somebody who would agree. So this is the behind-the-scenes sticky situation that I'm in. Most publishers will only pick up a game if they have the rights to all platforms. That seems to be like everywhere. Like I've talked to a bunch of different publishers, and that seems to be the issue. So it's about finding somebody who would allow me to keep my PC rights, which is what pays my bills, and James's at this point, which wouldn't cut us out of this, and also let me update the PC build with whatever work they're doing for the console stuff. So that's my current goal. Find somebody who's willing to finish the stuff that I had designed for a mini expansion for the initial game. And if that goes well, maybe next year I would, work with them on doing a DLC. Because I have a bunch of designs and stuff for a DLC. It's just about finding somebody who's willing to decompile the code into essentially a port and then recompile it into something, that is more akin to what I really want to do with it. I wonder if the seller in the hat of Legend of Bumbo is a nod to a certain someone. I mean, it's just a nod to Judas. If I could instantly remake any of my old games, what would I remake? There's a design that I have for Ether, which I started with Tyler, which is really fucking cool, and I would love to do one day. It involves a lot of drawing on my part, and I don't have a super great amount of time right now, so it's not something I want to really jump into. But I think that, or Timefuck, or possibly Spewer, or hell, Bumbo. Somebody's asking how I feel about Super Meat Boy Forever. I haven't played Super Meat Boy Forever since I worked on it. I liked what I designed for it, but I mean that was back when I was designing it to be on phones. Like I designed a 2-button combo system on phones, so like one half of the screen was like jump and the other one was duck, and depending on the context of the situation of like holding one side and pressing the other, you do different things. And I came up with the generation, the level generation stuff. It's like the different chunk generations. I like the idea I like the concept that I initially put in place, but I have no idea if anything that I designed is carried over at all. I have not played it since I left the company, and I think it's been over 5 years. I can't keep track of time. But yeah, I mean, we were working on that thing the same time I was working on the Binding of Isaac. So 9 years ago was, I think, when the initial concept came out, which was an auto runner. But I hope it's great. I don't want anybody complaining to me and thinking I made something subpar, so I hope it's super awesome and nobody bitches at me about something I had no involvement in after the fact. Okay, where are we? Is the baby a boy or girl? I don't know if Danielle said, so I don't know if I should say. We do know, I think. I think we know. We did like an early test thing, and we found out the gender early. Do we know when the Tapeworm Kickstarter is going up? Okay. Let's just go over this stuff now, and then if I have some time, I will. Like, I was going to draw some stuff. Look, I even had this up. Look, just in case. I was going to be like, oh, this is a butterfly. Let's see. And then, you can go like, everything's in the way. That's a bone. It's a Forgotten's bone. Anyway, let's just go over some stuff real quick here. I'm going to scroll to the bottom so I can see what the fuck's going on, and then you can ask more questions that I somehow didn't answer. There's a shitload of questions that I missed. I mean, it's chaos. Okay. We're trying to figure out when we should do this. I know everybody's stuck at home, so these are my issues. Tapeworm Kickstarter. The base game is going to be like $15. And that's just the core game, no bells and whistles, basic box. And then you've got the Kickstarter exclusive stuff from here on out. So the next tier was going to be, or is going to be, it's called like the pink box. And it looks all like rose gold and pink. It's a special edition box that's all foiled out and looks really cool. The contents inside for the game are the same, but all of the stuff you unlock, which will be a lot of Four Souls cards that I have designed and whatever else, depending on how far we go, will all be in this box, and that'll be like $25. And then it kind of goes up from there. So the thing that we were brainstorming to try to figure out like what would be the best thing for fans now, since realistically you're not going to get Tapeworm for a while. My first thought is obviously like we could do a download, print and play version pretty easily, because I have the most of the files that Crystal's done. So we can just put that stuff up and you guys can play like right away. And then the second big one that I know that people really want is Javon found out that we have a warehouse, and we have a backup of about 500 copies of the gold box, the original gold box Kickstarter edition of Four Souls, that we could actually put up in a tier. So it would be a tier higher than the $25 one. So it'd be like, and we'd sell it for the same amount. So it'd be $35 plus the 25 promo edition, and that would be a tier. So $60 for premium Tapeworm, premium Four Souls, and that's pretty cheap. Do you guys think that that's awesome? Is that cool? It would be limited edition. It would be limited to the number of copies that we actually have. But the kicker here is we could actually ship Four Souls to you right when the Kickstarter ends, and you'd get the gold box right away, and you'd have to still wait. Or, like, is this something that we should just completely wait until after the epidemic is, like, I just don't know what to do. Like, basically, if we do the Kickstarter, we do that. We do the digital version. We do the gold box limited edition. It's $60, and then it's base shipping cost depending on wherever we're shipping, which can be expensive when it's overseas for sure. But in the U.S., it'd be standard. We can do that. I've got a possible trick up my sleeve that I would really love to do, which I can't talk about unless we hit a certain goal, because then we can actually print it. That would be really fun. But outside of that, it would just be like stuff like this. Like I would just do a bunch of fucking live streams while we're playing, and then we just strategize and try to figure out how we're gonna actually get this thing off the ground. I don't expect this thing to sell like crazy. It's not going to be like 4 Souls at all, for sure. But I don't want to put something out there that when people don't have money, like I don't want to be asking for more money when people are already low on money, and I just want to know what feels most appropriate. And any feedback, like honestly, if you've got any ideas of what we should do or do more of, do less of, let me know, because I'd like to do something to occupy my time too, and I know that Danielle would probably, just something fun that we can goof off and fuck around with you guys, and like, if that's something you think we should do, then let me know. Also, let me know if you have any ideas of things that you would really love for high tiers. My only idea was, of course, like signed tapeworm boxes, or I draw you like a worm. I think those would be like the higher ones, but I don't know. I don't know if anybody'd want to do like one-on-one Skype sessions or something, be willing to pay something for that, or what, but let me know. Well, the whole thing is the Kickstarter. Like, we'd have to do the Kickstarter. Like, I can't just like put out the fucking digital copy, the digital edition, and let you print it out, and then not do the Kickstarter. So if we do it, just know that that's kind of the plan. I'll make sure that other people on Twitter actually know, that are following, and because I want people to know that, like, whenever it launches at midnight, that there will be a limited number of gold boxes that go up, and those gold boxes will be shipped as soon as the Kickstarter ends. Skype, Discord, whatever. I've got both. So yeah, feel free. If you have any input on that, you just fucking type it in the thing that says say something, and you do it. Okay, so we talked about tapeworm eggs. I asked questions about all this stuff, like legally could we? No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't give somebody a real tapeworm. It's not okay, I guess. So tapeworm, I have tapeworm right here. Here's tapeworm. Here's the game. This here is the game. Tapeworm is a card game. It is a multiplayer card game. Here's the start card. And it's a game where you piece together on your turn a bunch of fucking worms of the same color, and you're trying to play out your hand. And so you got a bunch of cards, and you're trying to empty your hand by the end of your turn. And you've got a bunch of different things. You've got cards, like I showed you before, like these straights. So these are one color all the way through. During your turn, you choose a color that's open, an open spot. Like, so let's say if you were actually playing from start, you've got pink, red, and white. There's one more color, but it's rare. So you choose from one of these. And if you choose white, you can continue to play white cards in your hand until they dead end. So I could play this for free. And then I happen to have a head. And then I can play the head at the end of that. That actually locks off white for the next player, so no one's going to be able to play white. And a lot of the cards have different mechanics on them. So the one for this is hatch. That's the egg icon, which forces a player of your choosing to draw a card. These are the different mechanics. You've got a card like this. This is switch. This is one of the stronger cards. It's a dead end, so you can't keep going with it. And when you play it, you choose a player, you look at their hand, you take a card from theirs, and you give them one of yours. you've got little junkers like this. One of the worst cards in the game. Just a fucking dead end, does nothing. And then you've got important cards. Put these cards like, man, there's a lot of cards in here. Like this. Nope, no, not that one. Got cards like this. This card is a dig card. Dig lets you filter your hand, essentially. So dig means you draw a card and then discard a card from your hand. So it's a simple evaluation of like what cards you want to have more of and what cards you want to have less of. And you're trying to stack your hand so you can actually play out your cards during the turn. And there's also a mechanic called peek. Here's peek. Peeks are always two heads attached. When you play peek, you look at the top card of the library, you put it into your hand, and then you place a card from your hand back on top of the library. So you screw over the next player for the most part. And then you've got these ultra special awesome cards called cut. Each color has a cut. And cut allows you to cut a segment, discard all the cards that aren't attached. All those cards go to discard. And then you can continue to play off of that color cut, essentially. The game's super easy, it's super fun, it's super quick. Literally almost anybody can play it, which is the whole point of why I made it. Like trying to make a very accessible card game, almost as accessible as Uno, but actually have it have pretty cool strategy to it and still make the players feel like they have choices and they feel smart. So that's Tapeworm. There's of course more to it. But I don't want to give away everything before the Kickstarter actually starts. I don't want people just printing out, drawing their own cards and printing it out and playing it before there's a campaign going. But it's also goofy, and it's dynamically generated. The board is constantly changing depending on how you're playing the game. I've had games that just like spin out of control and just go all the way down the table, or games that just end in these little sausage worms everywhere. It's pretty fucking cool, and I think you guys will like it. It's a game that you can play with your parents. It's a game you can play with your kids. It's not like Four Souls. It's not that complicated at all. And I kept everything super simple too, and I didn't put a bunch of text on the cards. You know, everything has an icon, and then everybody gets like a little cheat sheet card that essentially explains the mechanics, so everybody knows what they're doing. And there's more to it too. There's stuff called ringworms. There's different strategies to winning. Yeah, it's like dominoes. It plays like dominoes. Dominoes meets Uno, pretty much. It's been compared, I can never remember what it is. It's been compared to a card game that exists, like a card game you play with poker, like playing cards. It's a certain type of game, but a few people that played it like said, "Oh, it's just like this game, except spatial." So, but I think it has to do with it's a kind of card game where you're strategizing about stacking your hand and making sure you're shutting off other players' plays with intel you gain from looking at their hand. So it's cool. There's a lot of stuff going on. Okay. So yeah, Kickstarter. Maybe I'll do another one of these and ask more questions and see. Uh-oh, I hear Peach crying. Make sure everything's okay down there. I hear crying. Solitaire version, no. 2-player works really well though. Here, let me go make sure everything's okay. Peach is having a tantrum. I don't know how many of you people have children, but I'd say that the hardest part of the quarantine is having kids right now. Usually she's pretty fucking awesome, but she's been having explosive meltdowns for no reason at all. But I guess the reason is because before this she was having school and playing with her friends for like 6 hours, 5 days a week. And now she's with boring mom and dad. Okay. I got like 5 minutes rapid fire questions. And then I gotta go because I gotta help calm this baby down. Threaten her with threats. So Tapeworm's 2 to 4 players. There is a tier where it's like Double Trouble, where you can get a secondary deck at slightly less of a price, and you can basically shuffle them together, and you could probably do 6 players. I haven't played with 6 players, so I don't really know. Make a new rulebook for 4 souls. Yeah. So there's a guy, I forget his name. There's a guy on Twitter who did like a comprehensive rule, like a really detailed rulebook. And I think we're going to end up working with him when we do, 4 Souls 2.0. Will the quarantine delay repentance? Probably. It has slowed down a bit, for sure. But what can you do? It's still the goal is still end of summer. We'll do our best. Favorite feature of the new 4 Souls expansion. There's a bunch of different mechanics that I've added and experimenting with. A lot of the additions in 2.0 will probably be optional. So, like, there's a room deck mechanic, there's transformation mechanics, there's a bunch of other little things that you can kind of like do and play with. And honestly, with like as many cards that will be in the game at this point, like the stacks will be so huge that you can probably like choose which cards you want to play with and which cards you don't want to play with. But my favorite aspect of the new expansion is there's a heavy focus on rivalry and cooperative. Like, basically there's cards that force you to choose somebody that you have to screw somebody over. Like, it pushes the game into a more active play session and less of like a let's all wall up and play our cards until we've each got like 10 items and then maybe we're going to start fighting each other. It pushes it really early. So like right away you piss somebody off and you've got a rival, or cards that force you to choose a player to help. So stuff like that. That's my favorite. Those are my favorite mechanics. Do I ever see myself moving away from the Issac IP to let other people take over, kind of like the Meat Boy IP? Well, it's not really the same, but I know. I would never not want to be a part of anything that I've created. I would always want to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing with Repentance. I'm working with a team of fans, essentially, who and we're kind of putting our ideas together and making everything work for the vision, essentially. And so no, I don't think I'd ever just give anything to anybody and say work with it. I think I'd always have to be involved. Why do I like Magic the Gathering? If you played it, you'd know. Because it's a really dynamic, ever-changing game that has the actual gameplay is really fun and focused, and it can be forever expanded. But the draft aspect of it is so fun. I really love it. Okay. I'll do like 2 more. But will Repentance have a new soundtrack? Yes. It will have a new there's going to be a bunch of songs in Repentance. We actually kind of went through. One of the things that Vin does is he goes through the old game and he gives me a list of stuff that things that weren't ported over for whatever reason, like little details or missing tracks or missing jingles. And he's like, why didn't this happen? Did you know this didn't happen? And most of the time I'm like, I didn't even realize that. And he's like, okay, well, let's add it. So he just gives me this checklist of like, here was your original he's a reminder of like, hey, remember this? You had this original creative vision. These certain things didn't actually make it over. He is really, hey, there's Javon. he's really good with that. He's amazing. He really knows the game better than he's young, so his memory is much better than mine. So he can give me a list of things that I don't realize didn't get ported over. And a few of those things are tracks or jingles or sound effects that were in the Flash version of the game that now will be in Repentance. Cards don't get dirty if you sleeve them, just making sure you know that. The whole soundtrack in Repentance is all done by Ridiculon. What's that arm tattoo? This one? It's wires and cut lines. It doesn't mean anything. I just always wanted to have one black arm. Okay, what else? Are we going to be able to buy just the new cards for the Four Souls Kickstarter? Yeah, that's the goal. It would have to buy. It would be the new cards with the new box, which would be like a double wide box, so you can actually fit all the cards in, with whatever extras that we're going to include. So it'll still be a probably higher tier, not higher tier, but it's not going to be this bottom tier that you can just hey, I'll just get the cards. It'll be a little more in depth for the actual expansion. We'll see when Ridiculon teases some. We're going to start teasing something at some point. I think we're going to probably start just teasing animated GIFs of gameplay and kind of just going for Repentance. Why do you think indies focus on mechanics to the detriment of atmosphere and story often? Because sometimes mechanics are the most important thing. And realistically, a lot of indies are programmers, and this isn't to say that you can't be a very creative, artsy programmer, but I think a lot of programmers tend to focus on mechanics, and they're the most important aspect of game design, and can't complement the mechanics with atmosphere, story, and theme, and visuals as well. So you find that a lot. That's a common thing, I think. The same thing happens with a lot of board games. You'll find board games that are like very programmery, very dry but really good. Like and there won't be any interplay with art direction or theme or any stuff like that. It's just. And I think it's simply that it's just not the wheelhouse of the person that's doing it. So, and they're not working with somebody who has a great understanding of how to mix mechanic and theme, art and the two halves of the brain. It's a hard time. People have a hard time, mixing these things together in games. It's the challenge of video games, really. I don't know the exact size of the Tapeworm card. But this is about how big it's going to be, and this isn't the final card stock, but it'll be more like a playing card. I don't know if that does anything for you. Do I have a banana? Here's a Zevia can. There you go. Does that help? Okay. Co-op and Repentance. I hope so. It'd be nice, right? We'll see what happens. I mean, at the very least, we'll do something that like they had in Anti-Birth, where instead of having like co-op babies, you could just drop in and actually be another Isaac, and we kind of go from there. I'd like to support that more. It's just all about like, if we do add it, how much time is that going to add? You know, how much is that going to push back? We're not there yet. Like, we're still trying to just finish the main game. So Isaac is good for boys and girls. Yeah, or whatever, right? Isaac is good for boys, girls, and other. It's good for everybody. Yeah, Dice Forge. Like a lot of board games cannot mix mechanics and stuff. A good example of the opposite is something like Wingspan, which is, I think, one of the reasons why that game did so well, is because it did mix theme, storytelling, visual aids, and mechanics. They all work together. It's not a common thing, but I think you'd think in most really good games out there, where they shine is probably that the interplay of those things. A lot of games don't take what you're doing and make it matter within the theme. You know, like something like The End Is Nigh, or even Super Meat Boy. Like with The End Is Nigh, like I'm trying to, the main mechanic is platforming, is difficulty. That's like the main mechanic is when things are difficult. But I was trying to spin it with this element of stress. So it's stress, difficulty, and impending doom. And that was the foundation of what I was working with, and I tried my best to make sure that the theme and the story and the environment and the characters all embodied the core mechanic of what I was trying to accomplish. And I mean, for me, that's the most important thing when it comes to my games, is making sure that it all works together. And the same thing goes for something like The Legend of Bumbo, where there's a lot of strategy involved. You're thinking a lot. And the aesthetics are all these cardboardy, puzzly, like it's a puzzle. It's like an actual puzzle, pieces of a puzzle. Cardboard is a puzzly, like all these things mashed together into this cardboard box. And the cardboard box theme pushes all the way back through like Time Fuck and, you know, and Isaac and a bunch of other things. And it all comes into this cohesive, like, there's so many elements of, you know, growing up poor as a kid and being a creative kid and having to improvise with what you had. There's just, I put a lot of thought, subconscious and otherwise, into the projects that I'm working on. And I try my best to make sure that the foundation of the mechanics of the game makes sense to the visuals, and the visuals make sense to the story, and the story makes sense to some sort of deeper grounding. If that makes any sense. I should probably go before Danielle loses her mind down there. I don't hear any more crying, which is good. But we'll see. We'll see what's actually going on. I'm also out of water and I'm parched. So I hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you aren't losing your minds. And I hope you'll feel free to give me some feedback on Tapeworm stuff, even like in comments or whatever else. I'll go through and I'll read and kind of see what you guys think. It's just one of those things where it's kind of like, I don't know. I think we should do it pretty soon and just see what happens. And at the very least, we can give you guys some stuff sooner than later. So I have to go be a dad. Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot for any of your information. Give me more fucking. Tell me what you really think, guys. Come on. Take it easy.